Love that. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have with us Michael Shelton-Montez. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, originally, but raised in San Jose, California. He returned to the St. Louis area to earn his bachelor's degree at a place called SIU Edwardsville, and also a master's degree from Lindenwood University. He is formally serving as the administrator, currently as the administrator of the Catholic Children's Home in Alton. He's been with the Catholic Children's Home since 1992 and rose up through the ranks through various positions at the home. I've been fortunate enough to work with Mike, his staff, and this wonderful organization for, I don't know, maybe close to a decade, serving on the advisory board. And I see firsthand the great work they do for the area youth who are in need of more formal care and structure, often through no fault of their own. The current large building on State Street in Alton houses the operation that is still, frankly, a mystery to many, even though it's been serving children in need for well over a century. So to better tell the story, I give you Mr. Michael Shelton-Montez.
Thanks, Mark. As Mark has already stated, my name is Mike Montez. I've been with the Children's Home for 29 years. I know some of you are probably thinking, gosh, you look too young to be there that long. Well, they hired me when I was 6, and so I've been there since then. But needless to say, I've been here because I really believe in the mission of the organization and what we do. I have a presentation for you, and I'll go ahead and just go through the presentation. The Catholic Children's Home has been in existence since 1879. We were started by the Precious Blood Sisters of Roma, Illinois. And since then, it went through, of course, a lot of changes and a lot of different administration changes with being all lay people here now. But we still do the same thing to address our mission. And our mission is to aid, protect, and care for the needs, education, and welfare of dependent, neglected, abused, or otherwise hurting children and families without regard to poverty, riches, race, religion, or national origin. Like I said, we started off as an orphanage, and through the years, we've changed to accommodate the need of the community and the people that surround our agency, of course. The agency now currently has 2 main primary programs, and that's the residential program, which consists of long-term residential, which is our McNicholas home, transitional living program, which is the Learning Independence for Tomorrow, which is called the LIFT program. And we also have a special day school here, Center for Children to Heal and Achieve. And we'll talk a little bit more specifically about each of those programs as we go along. Right now, some of you, I'm sure, are aware of the Boys Town model or Boys Town, and their primary behavior modification tool was used by the Catholic Children's Home for many years. We adapted it from Maryville residential facility, which is in Northern Illinois, and we used that for many years, up until about 5 years ago when I became the administrator here. Throughout my time here, I started in residential in the McNicholas home as a direct care staff member and was there, and from there went to be overnight supervisor. From there, I was in the girls program. We used to have a girls program. I was a program manager of the girls program for about 6 or 7 months and went back to the McNicholas home after that and managed that program for a little bit. From there, I went to manage the LIFT program, which is a transitional living program. And then from there to administrative services, and then now administrator. So I've been here a little bit, and I've been kind of all over the building in all of our programs. The Boys Town model focused on behavior modification. And a few years ago, we kind of changed our focus, not necessarily not address behaviors, but we felt like we needed to go further and to do more. We needed to help the youth that come into our building and come into our care to learn more about why they were making the choices that they were making, and why they were displaying some of the behaviors they were displaying. And so we do that now by looking in their history and in their experiences through the trauma that they've experienced. We've all experienced trauma to some degree, and it affects our judgment, it affects our choices, and it affects our everyday living. And you can only imagine that with kids, with all that they go through, it really has a lasting impression, a lasting effect on their choices. And so we work with a program called Think Trauma, and it's where we train our staff on acknowledging that the kids that come into our care experience things before they've gotten to us that may affect actually how they build relationships, how they work within their own peer groups, and how they really view things through the lens of the trauma they've experienced. The Think Trauma program is a training that we've gone through, and it's really in all residential settings in the state of Illinois. They're moving towards it, trauma-informed practices. And it basically looks at the kid's life as a whole and the traumatic experiences or experiences they've had that may have a lasting impression or a lasting effect on them. We try to get the kids to understand that it's through these lenses that they look at everything in their lives, and it affects their choices and their decisions. And what we found in the last 4 or 5 years is that it's a lasting effect on how they look at themselves, building self-esteem, how they look at building relationships. A lot of our kids don't have real good relationship building skills because the relationships they've had in the past haven't been real successful for them. And so we look at that in everything that we do here with the kids now. And that has really been a very important structural change for us, because it was just really a different approach. When we were looking at behavior modification, we were just looking at what they were doing and what they were exhibiting to us. And we weren't really looking at what the source of everything was. And so now we take some time to look at the source to try to get them to understand themselves better so that they can make more lasting impressions in their choices. We also look at a program called Restorative Practices. This was developed through the court system, actually. And some of you may have heard of restorative justice. And it's a practice where you take the child that may have created a situation or displayed an action that has affected another child or another person. You get them together, and where, like in our court systems, you look at, you're just looking at what they would call a victim and a perpetrator. And what we look at is we look at not only the two that are directly involved, but we look at the community, because they were also affected by whatever actions or whatever circumstances may occur. And we bring them all to the table so that we can all have an open discussion about what the actions have done to the community, how everybody feels about it, the impact that it's had on everyone's lives. And we, again, see a longer lasting effect on them being able to discuss, maybe why they displayed a behavior, how it made someone else feel, how the community was changed or affected by it. And again, it's looking at encompassing everybody, all the parties, and not just maybe the two direct people involved in any incident. In our residential program, the McNicholas Home, we currently have 13 youth there, and they're boys from the ages of 11 to 18. Most of them have emotional behavior disorders. They've been placed with us by the Department of Children and Family Services. We can also take private placements. We rarely do have private placements, but we can take private placements. We provide educational advocacy for them, help them to develop better self-help skills, daily self-help skills. And those self-help skills are like brushing their teeth, proper use of deodorant, showering, things of that nature. You'd be amazed at the number of kids coming to us at the age of 11, and they really don't have these skills developed. We also work with them very intently on social skill development, how to get along with peers, how to make better decisions when they're in group settings and things of that nature. Of course, we provide counseling services for them. This program has a therapist that's assigned to the program. She does individual therapy with the kids as well as group therapy. And we have groups, social groups also that the kids participate in. In our LIFT program, which is a transitional living program, we currently have 5 youth. These are young men ages 17 and a half to 21. They come to the program to learn better independent living skills and advanced self-help skills. They live in our building. We have the 4th floor, north side of our 4th floor that's dedicated to them. And they live in a simulated apartment living. And it would probably be very similar to what you guys might know as dorm living in a college setting. They have their own individual rooms. Some of them share living spaces like living room, dining areas, showers, bathroom, kitchen. Those are community areas. We also provide education advocacy for them. While in our program, if they don't have their high school diploma, they have to do something to obtain a high school diploma or GEDs. And we encourage them to do some type of continued education, whether it be attend college or some type of trade school, again, to make them, the whole intent of this is for them to be productive, positive, productive citizens in the community. And we also, as part of this program, have what we call an ILO, which is an independent living option. We put the kids in their own apartments in the community. We monitor them and assist them in the community in their own living arrangements to be successful before discharging them from DCFS at the age of 21. In our school department, we have a total of 40 students. And right now, because of the pandemic, we do have, we had to offer a mixture of virtual or in-person attendance. And so we currently have 28 in-person kids and 12 virtual kids. We have what we call 3 schools within a school. We have an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school, all within our one school. These kids are bused in daily from surrounding public school districts and public schools. We offer them smaller classrooms. There's no more than 10 kids in each classroom, and we do have a teacher and a teacher assistant in each classroom. They receive individual counseling as well. We have an art therapy program, occupational therapy program, and we also offer speech and language pathology to the kids that are in need of those services. All of our kids in our school department have IEPs, which are individual education plans, and they're reviewed every 6 months for the most part. We offer in our school department web-based and current curriculum, and we also offer all of our kids, which started about 4 years ago, Chromebooks. So they do have the opportunity to have some more advanced and the up-to-date curriculum that's offered on the web. One of the big things that we do also is we provide daily meals and snacks to our kids. We found that a lot of our kids don't eat balanced meals on a regular basis. And so we found that very helpful in their success here at the children's home with being able to be successful in the classroom by offering and making sure they're eating correctly, at least the time that we have them here. Really, it's easier for me to go by if you have any questions. I can answer the questions and provide more information from there.
Mike, this
Yes.
is John Gibbons. Do you receive some funding from the state of Illinois or other places in the government?
We have a contract with the Department of Children and Family Services, and they provide us with a per diem per kid that live here. And then through the individual school districts that place kids here, we have a contract with them regarding the specific kid that comes to us, which also is a per diem per day.
Do you also get some individual donations?
Yes, we get individual donations through our community as well as through the diocese. The diocese has a Christmas collection for the kids, and we're recipients of that as well.
And one last question. Do you do you have mentors for each of your children? I mean, someone that they look up to that they can, as long as they're there or, in the right range of age, I guess, that they can have as a mentor.
Currently, what we do in our residential program, the McNicholas Home, we assign them a mentor that's a staff member just to help them with their transition here. But we have been in a process of developing a mentorship program for mentors outside, community mentors. Part of the difficulties that we face is that all of our mentors have to be approved through the state of Illinois to have contact with our kids. It's a very lengthy process, and it has to go through the Department of Children and Family Services. But like I said, the mentorship program that we have now are with staff because they've already gone through the process.
Well, I don't want to preach about anything, even though I did do a little of that at the beginning of the meeting. But I had 5 sons and 2 daughters, and I was a scoutmaster for 21 years. So I have a little experience with young people. My experience is that if a young person finds a person when they're in the ages that you're handling there, that they can look up to in their life, and basically they feel comfortable patterning their life after that person, it can bring them out of some terrible situations.
Absolutely.
Oh, I agree. And if anyone is interested in being a mentor or donating anything to the Catholic Children's Home, they're welcome to call. They can call me at this number. My direct extension is actually *333. And just a little bit more about my history. I really agree with what you're saying and what you said. I have 7 kids, 5 of which came from the Catholic Children's Home. I became legal guardian for them, and I adopted some of them as well. So essentially, I guess I took my work home with me. It's really about exposure. I really believe in exposing them to the many opportunities that they have, because a lot of our kids really suffer from not being exposed or know what's out in the world for them to be able to do that's positive. They really get caught kind of in that negative circle, and they don't really have ways to get out. So I agree that, if they have someone they can look up to, or if they're just even exposed sometimes to many possibilities of the things that they can be and who they can be as an adult, it's very, very helpful.
Hey, if this is Tim Hart, Mike, thank you for everything you do, and you certainly have humbled me. And now, full disclosure, I am a advisory board member for Madison County Catholic Charities, and I will put in a shameless plug, borrowing some words from a speaker we had a few weeks ago, who stated that if you need to take a mandatory distribution from your IRA, I propose that this children's home or Madison County Catholic Charities are a good place to make a donation.
Amen.
And I agree. Even though my opinion may be a little biased. Are there any other questions?
Yes, we have a question from here. Gina?
Now there's 3. Are they capped at 40?
Are you capped at 40?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Are you capped at 40 students?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, the question is, are you capped at 40 students?
Oh, no, we actually don't have a cap. We feel like to continue to do what we do and do it well, 50 is about where we can handle as far as staffing patterns now, as far as the number of classrooms we have and the number of support staff that we have. But no, we're not capped at 40 students at all.
Are they bused within their own system, or are they?
Are the kids bused in your own system, or are they part of public transportation?
It's part of the school busing system from the district that they come from. And it's part of the contract we have with the individual schools.
Okay.
Does the money go straight to them, or does it have to go to the diocese?
Can the money go straight to you, or does it have to go through the diocese?
It can come straight here at this address, 1400 State Street.
Okay, good deal. Are there any questions in the chat box, Ms. Sonda?
I don't see any to chat.
Okay.
And if anybody needs to, if anybody doesn't jot this down or anything, I mean, I'm happy to pass anything along or get any answers further. I can get with Mike as well in the future.
Okay, will we be able to send the slides? Okay, so all this information here on the slides will go out in the email for those who didn't get to attend the meeting today or who did and want to get this information. Yes, Nat.
As far as getting the kids out and exposure and opportunity, do they currently have funding to like a field trip to get them out and, you know, just another experience, life experience? Is that something they currently do or not?
Mike, what kind of funding do you have for field trips to get the kids out in life experiences?
Well, all of that comes from our budget, our operating budget, as well as donations. Usually around Christmas, we get quite a few donations. One of the things, like I said, I really believe in is exposure, for the kids to be exposed to different things, whether it be baseball games, the local baseball games, theater, taking them to the Fox, things of that nature. And I guess it's been about 11 years now that a lot of our kids don't get to experience family vacations or things of that nature. So every August, the beginning of every August, the first week actually, I, along with a couple of my staff members, we take the kids on family vacation. We go to Branson. And we start off by staying in hotels, and the number of kids increased. So we decided we rent a house there now, essentially. And we stay there for about 4 days. It can be very taxing sometimes, but the kids absolutely love it. They get to go to shows while they're there. They get to, of course, ride the go-karts, to go to do the video games, Silver Dollar City, I think they have whitewater rafting, whitewater park there. And they get to do things like that. So that's another thing that we do as far as field trips. But most of our money for activities and things of that nature comes directly from our budget, unless, of course, we have had people donate specifically. Like there was a gentleman that has a farm, a local farm, and he's provided the farm and lunch, and they go fishing and things of that nature out and go hiking and things like that. And so we try to incorporate, again, just as many experiences that we can expose them to as possible.
Any other questions? Yes, I agree. Good program. Mike, thank you. And on behalf of the home nursery and Tasovsky family, I've got a plant here for you. And Mark and I will have to get together and figure out how to get that to you. But,
all right.
Thank you for your presentation today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.